Can you believe that the next Nintendo Direct is around the corner already? The gap between the June and September Direct is so short. It's so quick. It goes by like that. It's a lot better than the September to February gap, which feels like it drags on. And similarly, the February to June gap can also drag on. But June to September, less than 3 months. Love that stuff. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach with SwitchForce. Wanted to get some early info and early predictions out there so we can get hyped and excited for the next best show in Nintendo gaming. I thought the June Direct was stellar. People said they had no games. Ha! They had so many darn games. And they're going to have even more. Let's talk about the date first and then what you can expect to be there. I believe the date of the Direct is going to be September 13th. Why am I so sure on that? Is it because 13 is my favorite number? Is it because last year the Direct was on September 13th? Well, no. Last year the Direct was on September 13th, and in 2021 it was on September 23rd. We can rule out the end of the month because that's Tokyo Game Show, and the beginning of the month is probably too close to Gamescom over in Germany. That leaves the middle weeks of the month. And mysteriously, the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC Pack 1 Hidden Treasure of Area 0 is releasing on Wednesday, September 13th. Games don't release on Wednesdays. Games are Tuesdays, games are Fridays. Why the curious Wednesday launch? Well, my bet is that because this DLC for Pokemon is kind of Nintendo's big thing for September, they usually have another game or a major third-party partnership. There's really nothing in the month of September. Nintendo's holiday slate doesn't really kick off till October. I think they're going to make this a focal piece of the Direct again. And I think they'll say at the end of the Direct, it's available now on Nintendo Switch eShop. So I think Wednesday, September 13th is the day of the Direct, which is less than a month away. We're getting really close. So what can you expect to be there? Let's get the obvious out of the way first, which is blowouts on Mario. This Direct is going to be heavy Mario. The last Direct was heavy Mario, but they really need to set the stage for Super Mario Bros. Wonder and Super Mario RPG. Both games are coming out soon, October and November, and neither have a ton of info out there. We did get very great trailers for both games, but we need to know what are the differences in Mario RPG. Why should you pay $60 to play it today, and how does it appeal to a more modern audience? For Mario Bros. Wonder, it's like, what exactly is this game? How does it differentiate itself from past 2D Mario? What are the other transformations? As people have begun to believe that maybe each character, each playable character, has its own transformation. And I think they'll go into detail showing us more gimmicks of Mario Wonder that make it unique. Like, yes, there's the Wonder Flower, and yes, there's Elephant Mario and talking flowers, and it's the Flower Kingdom, but what else is going on? Maybe we'll get introduced to some new characters, some new villains, and probably see if there's any side modes or extra content. I do hope that they have something akin to the challenges from New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. I don't know if they'll replicate that mode exactly, but I hope there's more than just the campaign, though the campaign could be absolutely massive to a level where they don't need much else. But those are two pillars that you can guarantee will take up a big chunk of time. But I don't think it's just going to be a boring Direct. I think there'll be other things that actually help amp up and hype this presentation. Although I'm not predicting some crazy reveal or a huge slew of brand new titles. In fact, I think there'll only be one or two because we got teases of games like Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon and Princess Peach at the last Direct, and I think they'll go into more detail, at least on the latter. But what else can they add in here? Metroid Prime 4 is going to be the one that everyone wants. I don't think it's time yet. I'm of the belief that now that Nintendo Switch 2 is effectively late 2024, they're going to save Metroid Prime 4 for closer to launch. I think MP4 is going to be their best showpiece to showcase how the Switch 2 outperforms the Switch 1. And so I would think they'd want to show that game off closer so they can be like, look how fancy it looks. You can buy it, but then you can buy a Switch 2 and play it. I've predicted that I think Metroid Prime 4 could be their July game for 2024, coming out just before the launch of Switch 2. So it's still a Switch game, but in reality, it's also a wonderful cross-gen showpiece for the new console. I don't think we'll get Metroid Prime 4, but we might get Metroid Prime 2. There's been a lot of rumors about GameCube drops, everything from F-Zero to Luigi's Mansion to Metroid to Paper Mario, and I think we might actually get multiple. Nintendo could fill out their September and their December with some GameCube drops, and I think players have been eating those up. Whether it be Pikmin or MP Remastered, they've been doing very well. And so maybe you do get F-Zero GX, and maybe you also get Metroid Prime 2, and perhaps you get Luigi's Mansion 1 as we prep for the Dark Moon sort of remix on Switch early next year. I think GameCube games will be used as a really great way to jolt the release calendar while not having to waste a big game or have to put out something actually like major that requires substantial development resources. I do think there'll be one big new game, which is Donkey Kong. It is definitely time for DK, and I think there's a 100% chance that we get a Donkey Kong game before Switch 2. There's no way that Nintendo goes hard on DK with the movie and the theme park and does not support it in their most organic sphere, games. I think a DK game is overdue. I don't know if it's 2D or 3D, but I am beyond ready to see it, and I think that could be like the big exciting reveal that helps anchor like, hey, look forward to this in 2024. It's not February, but it's May or it's June, something of that sort. I think it'll be a mid-2024 title and kind of the big, exciting new piece of this Direct's puzzle. Other than that, I'm not expecting a ton of new games because we know the holiday lineup and we know Luigi's Mansion and Princess Peach. So I expect Nintendo will supplement that with DLC and maybe some exciting indies. Could Hollow Knight Silksong finally show up? I don't know. It would be really nifty if it could. And perhaps Nintendo could leverage Hollow Knight Silksong as a cool October release or a great December release. We heard most recently from Team Cherry before the summer, like they're not ready to show. What has been going on with that game? What are the issues? What's the trouble? I do not know. I'm hoping it's ready. There are a lot of rumors that it would be ready in early 2023, and we haven't seen even a single new scene. So what's to happen with Hollow Knight Silksong? Maybe this Direct is finally the place that shows up, and it would be a perfect inclusion because I don't think Nintendo is going to overwhelm with a whole slew of new titles from their first-party developers. I also think we're going to get DLC. Now, the main culprit here could be Tears of the Kingdom, in which case this Direct takes on a totally different taste, and people will be beyond excited. If they go ahead and announce Tears of the Kingdom DLC here, that would be super sick. A massive expansion, new story content, that is going to steal the show and take the cake, and honestly, it could be a good counterpart to the already announced lineup of Mario titles. Or maybe there's no Tears of the Kingdom DLC. Or maybe it's being saved for the Game Awards. I don't know. With all the focus on the Pokemon DLC, TOTK DLC may steal the hype. And we know that Pokemon DLC is a two-parter. Maybe they wait until that's over and try to give as much shine as possible to Pokemon. That does not omit free DLC, though, in terms of being added on to the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack service. And I think it's time for Mario Party to get some new boards. The fact that we're not getting a new Mario Party this year opens the room for some boards. You could sell them and players will buy it because Mario Party has sold incredibly well. And you could finally tack on another DLC that's exciting and fresh and new to the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack. I think Mario Party DLC is a great guess, but I'm also going to throw out Kirby and the Forgotten Land DLC. I think that game performed incredibly well, and I think it was very liked by a lot of different audiences. Nintendo always loves to go hard on Kirby, and even though they did port the Wii Kirby over to the Switch back in March, we haven't heard from Kirby since, and maybe DLC for the biggest, best-selling Kirby is the perfect thing to add into this Direct. I think we'll probably also get some GBA announcements, maybe a new slate of N64 games. We've really run through a lot of the already announced titles for the Virtual Console, Extra Console, Old Console, Retro catalog, and I definitely don't see them announcing a new console anytime soon for that, so it could just be trailers for games that will be coming the rest of the year. Third party will have a substantial segment, and while I don't expect like a Mario and Rabbids level exclusive, I think you could get some nifty stuff. We'll probably get the Arkham Asylum release date announcement, which has been leaked to be October 13th. Maybe we'll finally see Hogwarts Legacy running on Switch for its November launch. And there could be something else that kind of adds in an extra little oomph to the holiday calendar. I'm sure there's companies that would love to get their titles out in November or October, especially because after Mario, the Switch is kind of light on holiday games. I still think it's going to be a strong holiday, specifically on name branding alone. This was the Mario movie year, and we have tons of Mario. But I don't expect there to be any surprise December title outside of maybe like, oh, Hollow Knight will kind of fill that gap, or perhaps something small like a GameCube remaster or other DLC. I think this will be a fleshing out direct that sets the stage for the rest of the holiday season and early 2024, but doesn't really reveal the big heavy hitters. Remember, Nintendo is prepping a new console, and their biggest games like the new 3D Mario for the next console, those will be saved to excite the base at time of reveal of said next platform. I think we're going to have a dearth of major announcements for a bit here. Mario Wonder could be qualified as a major announcement because it's Mario, I think it is, but many regard that as more of a medium announcement. I think outside of Metroid Prime 4 being released and revealed next year, you're not going to have any mega announcements from Nintendo. Like, DK is mega to me, but it's not on the level of what some would consider like, oh, Nintendo really bringing out the big guns. Like, no Smash Bros, no Animal Crossing, no new Mario Kart, no new Mario, no new Zelda, none of that. Maybe we'll be surprised by something kind of kooky, a return of a familiar franchise like Star Fox or Kid Icarus, but most likely this will be a retread type direct with a few silver nuggets that are also just really exciting. More DLC for already established excellent games, and Donkey Kong sounds fantastic. And if Hollow Knight can fit in there, as well as deep descriptors of why Mario Bros. Wonder and Mario RPG are worth your money, third-party hits, and a few little pieces of indie goodness, I think we're in for another strong show. I just don't expect it to be anything revolutionary, although maybe they do have another OLED surprise, like a Mario Wonder OLED or a Mario RPG OLED. That could probably push a lot of units this holiday season, and I have all of them. So I'll probably be absolutely guilty of getting whatever they announce. I think we have room for one more limited edition probably, so put that in there as something else that could be announced, but I feel like that's a pretty comprehensive list. I'm not expecting anything crazy out of nowhere, left field, but in the next month, we'll hear more rumors and leaks, and as the picture gets painted, maybe Pioro will be back on the leak train. Nate Drake will probably have something to say. Jeff Grubb might chime in. And I'll keep you posted as we build and sort of formulate the exact shape of this direct. But right now, that is where I think it stands. Let me know what you think will be shown at the next direct. And remember, it's right around the corner. A lot closer than you think. That gap between June and September, it's flown by. Summer is almost over. And the fall gaming season is upon us. Time the next direct airs, you'll be playing Starfield, almost Spider-Man season, and more. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. Love y'all lots. SwitchForce out.